Hi friends, good day. The last class we have seen the types of subsidy books. We had detailed discussion on that. We have also seen the format of preparing purchase day book. I think from layman's point of view also, a 7th standard student or 8th class student, 8th standard student can prepare purchase day book, purchase returns day book because you no need to have debit and credit, because it's simply you will be writing the name of the supplier from whom you have purchased, or name of the customer to whom you have sold the goods, the quantity, the price, etc. You should be writing it, right? I think today's class I'll be explaining you two problems. It's a simple topic, so have already taken some examples in that. So again, before I go into the cash book chapter, let me take out two problems, and also we'll be discussing today how to go for ledger posting from subsidy books briefly, because ledger posting concept is same. So let me start with this problem. Prepare the purchase book of Mrs. Nani and Co. from the following. Purchase from Brown and Co. on credit 5 gross pencils at 10 rupees per gross. 1 gross registered 24 rupees per dozen. That means this 1 gross dozen, 1 gross is equal to 1 dozen. Is this clear? 1 gross is equal to 1 dozen, because he has given 24 rupees per dozen. So 1 gross, it's a engineering measurement generally. When we talk about 1 gross, it can be taken as 1 dozen, and depending upon the small one or the big one, if it's a big one, it is a 12 square, 144 items. It is a technical measurement, physical measurement. So I think you can see here 5 gross pencils per gross has been given, and as far as registers are concerned, per dozen has been given. So 1 gross register is equal to 1 dozen. 1 dozen means 12 items. Is this clear? So 24, I mean to say 12 dozens, sorry, not 1 dozen. Extremely sorry. This is 12 dozens. So he has given 1 gross register is equal to 12 dozens. Okay. 12 dozen, because he has given the measurement 20 rupees, 24 rupees per dozen. So it is a physical measurement. We go by as per the instruction. So 1 gross is equal to how many dozens? Tell me. 12 dozens. So 24 rupees per dozen. So 24 into 12, that is to be taken into consideration as purchase of gross registers. Then purchase from cash, purchase for cash from stationery mart. I think it seems to be is a stationery dealer. So I think this is not to be taken. The reason is it is cash purchases. Purchase typewriter for office use from Mrs. Office Goods and Co. on credit 800 rupees. Typewriter is an asset. It will be taken to where? General proper. I have told you in the last class. It will be taken to where? Cash book. So this also will not appear here. It will be taken to general proper. It will be taken to cash book. Then purchased on credit from the paper company 5 reams of white paper at 10 rupees per ream. Again, this is also physical measurement. 10 reams of ruled paper at 15 rupees per ream. Let's trade discount. Purchase 1 dozen ink pots at 1 rupee 50 each from Mrs. Verma on credit. So first item is a credit transaction of stationery, and this is a credit purchase, credit purchase of stationery. This was also credit purchase of stationery. So now we should start working out the problem. Okay, so I told you Mrs. Nani and Co. Name of the stationery mart. You will be writing. Is asking purchase book. First column I have told you date. Second column I have told you particulars. Nowadays they are writing invoice number, but I prefer to you to write inward invoice because you will be able to identify. Otherwise, you won't be knowing the difference between purchase book and sales book. Inward invoice and two columns. One is for details, one is for writing the amount to outer column. Okay. Now let me start. Date: purchase 5 gross pencils at rupees 10 per gross. One gross registered 24 rupees per. So 2012 February 1st. Name of the supplier. You write the name of the supplier. And the description you can give. That is the advantage you are having in subsidy book. 5 gross pencils. At the rate of 10 rupees per gross. You write in the inner column 5 into 10, 50 rupees. Then 1 gross register at the rate of 24 rupees per dozen. I have told you 12 into 24. Well, into 24, it is coming to 288 rupees. Now we also got, I think, 10% trade discount. You can see trade discount 10%. You go for total of it 288 plus 50. It is coming to 338. $33.8, and if you deduct, you will be getting 304.2. Some people write inward invoice number here, ledger folio. It doesn't affect you. It's not like it is a design by an accountant. According to your convenience, you can write it. Sometimes some changes can be taken place, no issue. Then I told you second one we don't take. Second one we don't take. Third one we don't take. And we shall go for 4th February. Purchase on credit from the paper co 5 reams of white paper 10 rupees per ream. 10 reams of ruled paper at 15 rupees per ream. They discount at the rate of 10%. So next, 4th, the name of the supplier, the paper company. The paper company. 5 reams of white paper at rupees 10 per ream. 5 into 10, 50 rupees. Then 10 reams of ruled paper at the rate of 15 rupees per ream. 150. 50 plus 150 is coming to 200 less trade discount at the rate of 10%. 20 to 200 minus 20, 180 rupees. Clear? The next one. Purchase 1 dozen ink pots at 1 rupee 50 each. 1 dozen ink pots at 150 each means 1 rupee 50 NP per dozen ink pots of Messrs from Messrs Verma Brothers on credit. Fifth, Messrs Verma Brothers at the rate of 150 each. So 12 into 1 rupee 50 NPT is coming to 18 rupees. Now you can go for totaling of 304.2 plus 180 here. Just a minute. 1 dozen ink pots at 1 rupee 50 NP each means the 12 into 150, correct. 1 dozen is consisting of 12 items, so 12 into 150, that's correct. Okay, so it is coming to 18 rupees. So you don't have any discount here. Now you can go for totaling of it. So 304.2 plus 180 plus 18 is coming to 502.2. This is total of purchase day book. Now we have seen here transaction number 2, transaction number 3, transaction number 2, 3. This will not appear, that is February 2nd, February 3rd will not appear in subsidiary book. That note you should give after completion of the problem. Note. Note. Transaction dated February 2nd is a cash transaction. Hence, it is not to be taken to purchase day book. Then, transaction dated February 3rd is purchase of asset on credit, but not purchase of goods. It is to be taken to general proper. It is to be taken to general proper. Clear to all of you? Now, in fact, is not asking you to go for ledger accounts, but I would like to tell you few more things about ledger. How you will be posting ledger. In fact, is not asking. Just I am trying to tell you how we have to go for ledger if ledger account is being asked. See, we will be having an account called as purchases account. Okay. Second, name of the suppliers. Brown and Co, Paper Co, Mrs. Verma. Brown and Co, the Paper Co, Mrs. Verma brothers. Mrs. is plural form to Mr. Mrs. is M by S is nothing but Mrs. It is a plural form to Mr. Okay. Now, this purchase, the total of purchase day book. I'll be making some statements which will be useful even for the statement of true or false. The total of purchase day book is debited to purchase account. We write to sundries. As per purchase day book, or you can write sundry creditors. You can write to sundries as per purchase day book, or we can write sundry creditors. What is the total of amount? Total of this 502.2. Okay, and right here we also got, in your opening ledger account, purchased cash from stationery mart, 10 gross exercise books at 3 rupees per dozen. 1 gross means I told you 12 dozen. 12 dozens. Now 10 into 12. How many dozens? Tell me. 120 dozens. Please remember, the cash purchase will not be taken to purchase day book, but cash purchases can be taken to purchase account. So here I am writing I told you 1 gross register 12 dozens. Now 10 gross means 10 dozens. 10 means 10 into 12. 1 gross register 12 dozen. 10 gross register means 10 into 112. 120 dozens. 120 dozens into 3 rupees. It is coming to 360. That will be taken here. Purchases account at R2 cash. In fact, is not asking the ledger account. Yes, but I am trying to explain this. Is this clear? I think you know the date, particulars, etc. The second account which I think I have taken out from here, which I need to open is Paper Co. Paper Co is a supplier. Here you write buy purchases. Then you may be having the doubt, sir. While we were learning the journal entries, like we have written purchase account at R2 Paper Co. Is it Paper Co or first one account? Brown and Co. Sorry, Brown and Co. Sir, we have written like entries. Purchases account at R2 Brown and Co. Purchase account at R2 Paper. Purchase to Mrs. Verma. Then why you are written? When we have opened purchase day book, all the suppliers name list is there in purchase day book. No, is it not duplicating? Is it not time wasting? Are you following? If I write to Brown and Co, if you write to Paper and Co, if you write to Mrs. Verma and Brothers, then what happened? Duplication. That is why when you are maintaining purchase day book, everything has been detailedly given in purchase day book. So no need to write here. But that individual information I need. The reason is that from whom I have purchased, I need to have the data. Otherwise, what happens? I won't be knowing to whom I need to make a payment. Now here I will be writing individually. What is the amount, sir? Here Brown and Co. tell me 304.2, because you know that for trade discount no journal entry is required. So 304.2. 304.2. Similarly, you see the next one, Paper Co. 180 rupees. By purchase account 180. Last one, Mrs. Verma Brothers. By purchases 18 rupees. Clear to all of you? By purchases 18 rupees. That's it. Okay. So then what happened? To balance carry down 304.2. To balance carry down 180. To balance carry down 18. Now I want to make a statement. This is very important statement. And I think most of you, those you have learned final accounts, you know sundry creditors account. I would like to ask a question now. Sundry creditors account, I think just you listen to me and I'm giving 1 minute time for you to recollect yourself. The sundry creditors account are you going to get from total of individual suppliers? You should answer me either yes or no. I can't hear, but you can give your answer. You'll be knowing for yourself, for self-assessment. My question is that the sundry creditors account is a total of sundry creditors account is total of amount due from various suppliers. No, total. It also can be called as total creditors or trade payable. But to have a clarity, most of you are familiar with creditors. I am using the term creditors. It also can be called as trade payable. So most of the people you feel that the individual suppliers total is creditors. That is correct, no doubt. But generally posting to sundry creditors account is from subsidiary books. So here by purchase account, sundries from purchase day. Sundries from purchase day book. What is the total of it? 502.2. Now the interesting point, in purchase account you can take cash purchases, but in purchase day book you can't take cash purchases. Similarly, in purchases in creditors account you can take only total of purchase day book, but we can't take cash purchases. Cash purchase will be taken to which account, my dear friends? Cash account. Clear to all of you? So today conclusion is that I am making a statement now. Total of, this is very important statement. Whatever I am explaining basics, most of you may feel that we have learned in CA in 12th standard, sir. Why should you waste our time repeating these things? I am very clearly telling you, you will be knowing certain things at later on stage. Let me assure that these basics definitely is going to be very important later on to understand subject in a better manner. We were having a topic called a self-balancing ledger, and most of you learn ledger accounts. But you know how many types of ledgers are there? If you are really interested, because of this epidemic, I think we are having some disturbance in schedule. Otherwise, we could have had a detailed discussion. I'm with confidence and with I mean very happy to share with you those students who have attended, have learned a foundation in CHAMS are really having a very strong foundation. I'm not saying that because I'm working here, and I don't need any kind of pat at my back. You are doing a fantastic job, or you are. I don't need any praises. The reason is that my aim is to just to deliver. That's it. Whatever is matter for me, which I know from my experience, that you need to really, which is useful to you, may not be able to realize now, but definitely one fine day you'll be knowing, this we have learned. Compiling this basic things for various books, with referring to various books, the knowledge which I acquired over the years, that I am sharing with you. That information just let me give you. And if that is the case, suppose if I want to prepare trial balance, before I go into this, then this I'll tell you later on. Suppose if I want to go for trial balance from this, excluding cash purchases, if I want to go for trial balance excluding cash purchases, tell me, It's 502.2. You go for adding the individual creditors. 304.2 plus 180 plus 18. It is 502.2, no? So how many accounts are showing credit balance? 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look at the purchase account excluding cash purchases, excluding cash purchase 502.2. Now here, shall I take Brown, Paper Co, Mrs. Verma? You learned in final accounts, no? Have you got any individual supplier's name? No. We got sundry creditors, no? Am I right? Then, sir, why you opened this account, sir? To know what is the amount due from each. To know what is the amount due from each of supplier, because I won't be knowing to whom I need to pay. Now, trial balance is tallied or not? Of course, cash purchase, I don't have complete information to prepare trial balance. I need to have cash book, opening balance, payment, etc. That is why excluding cash purchase. Trial balance is tallied or not? Then what about this, sir? These accounts, why you opened, sir? To know amount which is due from individual suppliers. Hope if I am not confusing, my dear friends, let me tell you, ledger, we are having the ledger accounts classification, general ledger, debtors ledger, creditors ledger. How many ledgers are there? 3. General ledger, debtors ledger, creditors. General ledger, nominal accounts, real accounts, and personal accounts other than individual customers and individual suppliers, but including debtors account and creditors account. Including debtors account and now this debtor and creditor account is called as a temporary account. Don't panic, don't confuse. I am just sharing the information because situation has come. I am explaining. General ledger, nominal account, real account, personal account, other than individual customers, individual. In debtors account, individual customers account. Debtors ledger, you show individual customers account. Creditors account, you show individual suppliers like Paper Co, Brown and Co, etc. When you prepare trial balance, which generally we will be taking general ledger only. So this debtors ledger, creditors ledger individually, but total debtors, total creditors will come under which account? General ledger. So general ledger is consisting of nominal account, real account, personal accounts other than individual customers, individual suppliers, but including debtors and creditors. I think now you can see here purchase account comes under where? General ledger. Clear? Brown and Co, creditors ledger. What is ledger? A separate notebook where all creditors ledger, all individual suppliers names will be there. This is creditors ledger. This is creditors ledger. This is which ledger? General ledger. The name of the ledger where creditors account is opened means You should answer, tell me. General ledger. The name of the ledger where individual suppliers account is opened is called as Creditors ledger. Come on. Now trial balance will be prepared on the basis of general ledger. Trial balance will be prepared on the basis of general ledger, but not on the basis of Creditors ledger. Then Creditors ledger is for what, sir? Creditors ledger is for knowing what is the amount due to each supplier and how much has been paid, what is the balance. So in simple words, the total of individual suppliers is in the form of sundry creditors. That is why I think most of you won't be learning this. If it is, you have learned that in 12th standard. Hats off to your faculty members. Hats off to your faculty members. I am telling you, if you are not learned, maybe I am not criticizing, I am not saying anything to your faculty members. Whatever you are here and whatever the marks you have scored because of your 12th standard faculty members only. Those are coming from commerce stream. Maybe they might have thought this may not be required for you to explain at that particular stage. I've been repeating to you. I've been telling to you the sundry creditors is temporary account. Why it is temporary account, sir? This account is being prepared in order to prepare trial balance. Because if I'm having thousands of suppliers, lakhs of suppliers, crores of customers, if you take Reliance, 20 crores, 30 crores customers, how you can have that showing that in the balance sheet? BSNL, you are having crores of customers. Am I right? You are having so many customers. Postpaid connection, they all are called as customers. Is it possible? Electricity department, crores of customers are there. We all are customers. You are making payment after getting the bill, not before getting the bill. Is it possible for you to open all individual? Yes, they maintain. But when they go for financial statement, they won't be writing that all 1 crore customers' names individually. Then they write sundry debtors. Similar, they write sundry creditors. That is why it is called a temporary account. This account will keep on continuing. See, but if you want to have details, you should refer to a separate bulky book which is called as Creditors ledger. In that you are having the individual list of suppliers. This is for information's sake. Please try to remember. No need to worry about it, sir. Really this is important. No, these are, see, there are two approaches: knowledge oriented approach, examination oriented. My always classroom is a bit short term batch or long term batch. I really want to give detailed information. You can ask your seniors who have studied here. My way of teaching is that I want, for me, everything is material. It is to be disclosed. Now you need to select whether what is material for you, what is immaterial. If it is known things to you, just like a fine tuning. Okay, my dear friends. So sundry creditors, got the clarity? So if somebody is going to ask you sundry creditors, if somebody is going to ask you related to test your knowledge, you should say it is a general ledger. Name of the book, bulky book, general ledger. In that you are having personal accounts, real accounts, nominal accounts. Personal accounts excluding individual suppliers. Personal accounts excluding individual suppliers. Personal account excluding individual customers. But we are having total customers account. That is total creditors we can call, or sundry creditors you can call, or you can call as trade payable. The same is the case for debtors also. Okay. So this is just for your information I have given you. So I think this is clear to all of you. So now I want to make a few statements. I'll do one thing. Those statements I'll give you after completion of the sales day book also. Then we can, it will be useful for you to copy down. I'll dictate that you can copy down. Some people will ask cash book. Cash book is a separate ledger because cash book is a main book, you know. Cash book is a main book, but that also comes under the category of general ledger only. Cash book you maintain separate book, but that comes under the category of cash book is separate ledger, but that comes under the category of general ledger only. The notebook is separate because cash transactions are frequent, but that comes under, even though Like you will be having mathematics A, mathematics B, 12th standard. So max A, max B, even the max A, max B is a separate one, but still it is called as a mathematics subject. No, the same is the case. Like cash book is a separate book you maintain, but it's a part and parcel of general ledger. So depending upon the volume of the business, you divide. Yes, I told you the ledger accounts which they maintain: general ledger, debtor ledger, creditors ledger, and cash book. But this cash book is part and parcel of general ledger. And if some people, they volume of transactions, like they don't want to reveal the personal transaction, they also maintain private ledger, because confidential matters are maintained by the management. Private ledger. But this private ledger data ultimately also again included in which ledger? General ledger, when you go for preparation of trial balance. Come on, tell me, preparation of trial balance is based on general ledger only. Debtor ledger trial balance won't be prepared. Creditors ledger trial balance won't be prepared. Are you following? Debtors ledger trial balance won't be prepared. Creditors ledger trial balance won't be prepared. But really, if you want to prepare, it is called a self-balancing ledger. The topic has been done away. So I think it's a way we were having that as in CA, sorry, in IPCC course. Now we are having calling a CA Inter. I think that has been taken away. Even debtor ledger also you can prepare trial balance, but you need to open one more account called as general ledger adjustment. It's a big topic. I think you can leave it. Got the clarity? Right. Now let me take you to the next problem. Then we can go for. So somebody is going to ask you which ledger. Don't talk about the format. You should say ledger means general ledger, sir. In general ledger, trial balance is prepared on the basis of which ledger, sir? General ledger. It is what is called as sectional balancing. What is it called as? Sectional balancing. The ledger, whatever the trial balance data we are having in before preparing final accounts, is based on general ledger. So that is called as sectional balancing. Sectional balancing. Okay. Now let me take you to the second problem. This is only two problems we are having. Prepare the sales book of Messrs. Kranti and Co. from the following. Sold to Mrs. Gupta and Verma 30 shirts at 8 rupees per shirt. I think is a dealer of garments. Trade discount. Furniture won't be there. Furniture will be taken to where? General proper. That to purchase a sale of furniture on credit. Sold 50 shirts. This is okay. This is okay. Sold. This is cash transaction. No, will be taken to where? Cash book. Sold on credit 100 shirts, overcoat 50. This will be taken to general, sales day book. So how many transactions we will be taking to sales day book? 3 transaction. Let us start working out the problem. Okay. Sales day book of the name of the Messrs. Kranti and Co. First column date, particulars, ledger folio, outward invoice number, Okay, we don't have the date. If date is not given, can put question mark. Messrs. Gupta and Verma. Messrs. Gupta and Verma. The name of the customer. 30 shirts at the rate of 8 rupees per shirt. 30 into 8, 240 rupees you write in the inner column. 20 trousers at the rate of 10 rupees per trouser. 20 into 10. How much? 200. Okay. 200 plus 240, 440. Less trade discount at the rate of 10%, 44. 390s. Clear to all of you? Next, we do the next transaction. Messrs. Jain and Messrs. Jain and Sons. 50 shirts at the rate of 8 rupees per shirt. 400. We don't have any information of trade discount. So for this particular transaction, he has not given any trade discount. Next. This is completed. This will be taken to cash book. Messrs. Madhur, 100 shirts at 750, 10 overcoats at 50 rupees overcoat. Messrs. Madhur and Jain. Name of the customer. 100 shirts at the rate of 7 rupees 50 per shirt. 750. 10 overcoats at the rate of 50 rupees. 500. Coming to 1250. 1250 minus trade discount at the rate of 10%. 125. Now 1250, you're getting 1125. Just go for totaling of it. 1125 plus 396 plus 400. It is coming to 1921 is the total. Is this clear? Now this is total of sales table. I told you you'll be opening a sales account ledger when you talk about Now you'll understand better. Just I am writing this not to confuse you. I've been telling you. General ledger, you are having two accounts. Sales account, sundry debtors account. Sales account, sundry debtors account. In sales account, you write the total of sales day book is created to sales account by sundries as per sales day book, or we can write sundry debtors account. What is the total of this? 1921. 1921. Earlier we used to write, whenever there is a sale, we used to write customer to sales. In sales by customer name we used to write. But under this system, when sales day book is maintained, when individual customers names are mentioned in sales day book, it's a duplication. That is why we don't write it. Then you are writing to balance carry down. That's it. Acha. And we also got some cash transaction. No, cash sales. I think we are having cash sales can be taken to sales account. Here we are having 13 shirts to cheap stores at 7 rupees 50 each per cash. What is entry? Cash account debtor to sales. Thirteen into 7 rupees 50 NP. It is coming to 97.5. So 1921 plus it is coming to 2000. 2018.5. 2018.5 is not asking to open ledger, but just for information I am opening. Now sundry debtors, here you write to sundries as per sales day book, or you can write sundry debtors account at R2 sales account also you can write. Here you should write only credit sales. So by balance carry down how much? 1921. I think you all are following. The name of the ledger is general ledger. Now to know what is the amount due from each customer, the ledger, name of the ledger, this, even if you don't write this in the examination, that's okay, but sometimes this knowledge is essential for you to understand rectification of errors in a better manner. So debtors ledger, now what I do, I'll be opening individual customers account. How many customers are there? There are 3 customers. Messrs. Gupta and Verma, Messrs. Jain and Sons, Mehta, Mathur and Jain. So first I am starting with Messrs. Gupta and Verma. Here you write customer account data to sales account. What is the amount of here? Gupta, Mrs. Gupta and Verma, 396. 390. By balance carry down. Suppose if he makes payment, you write by cash. Then second account. Messrs. Jain and Sons. Now journal is easy, subsidiary books. Most of you may agree with me. Subsidiary books is easy. Am I right? To sales account. What is the amount here? Jain and Sons? 400. Last account. Messrs. Mathur and Jain, 1125. So even if you want to prepare trial balance, which ledger you take into consideration? General ledger. Excluding cash sales, 1921 is equal to 1921. No, this 1921 here is 1921 debit. We following? Because of cash transaction, it is changing. So I think today you learned how to go for ledger also. Same is the case for sales returns daybook or purchase returns. That examples I have already explained. Now, important points, important notes I wish to give. From subsidiary books. So whatever so far we have discussed, I am putting it in main points. Point number 1. Let me start with total of purchase day book. Total of purchase day book is debited to purchases account and credited to sundry creditors account. This is for information, whatever I have explained, useful for notes. Maintain these notes with you. General ledger, the name of the ledger, these two accounts which is opened is called as general ledger, and also individually credited to suppliers account. It is called as creditors ledger. You following? It is called as creditors ledger. Total of purchase day book is debit to purchase account and credit to sundry creditors account, and also individually credited to suppliers account. What is the name of the ledger? Creditors ledger. The second point, this is useful for you even tomorrow whenever you want to teach to somebody. These notes will be useful. I'm giving the main points to you, all of you, to make a note of it. Then second point, total of purchase returns. This I have not explained, but the logic is same. Total of purchase returns day book total of purchase returns day book is debited to sundry creditors account. Entry creditors account to purchase returns or suppliers to purchase returns. Credit debited to sundry creditors account and credited to purchase returns account. What is the name of the ledger? In general ledger. However, and also individually debited to supplies account, because when there's a purchase return, supplier to purchase returns we write. Individually debited supplies account. In which ledger? In creditors ledger. Next, third point. Total of debtors. Say total of sales day books. Total of sales day book is debited to sundry debtors and credited to, even if you don't remember sales ledger, general ledger doesn't have affect you, but better remember. Total of sales day book is debited sundry debtors account, credited to sales, entry debtors to sales. In which ledger? The name of the ledger. The name of the ledger where you open various ledger accounts is called a general ledger. But and also the name of the ledger, debtors ledger. Okay, next, fourth point. The total of sales returns day book. Credited to sundry debtors account in general ledger, and also credited to customers account individually in debtor ledger. I think these 4 points is clear to all of you. And here I am giving note. In purchase account, credit purchases as well as cash purchases will be recorded. Therefore, to know total purchases, cash and credit, purchase account is to be opened. This I have already told you. In sales account, credit sales as well as both will be recorded. That is to know total sales. Sales account will be opened. Okay. So we have learned 4 points. Purchase day book total, purchase return, sales day book, sales return. Cash book of course is all cash transaction. General proper is of course adjustment. But we are having two more accounts now. This is only statement from examination point of view, true or false. Fifth point, total of bills receivable book is debited to bills receivable account, and just you remember when you go for bills of fixing, you understand it. There I repeat once again, total of bills receivable book is debited to bills receivable account and credited to sundry debtors account. And also individually credited to customers account. In debtors ledger. Same is the case. Total of bills payable book. Total of bills payable book is debited to sundry creditors. Entry is like, if you are really interested, you can learn the entry. Sundry creditors to bills payable. For bills receivable debtors, that we will be learning in bills of exchange. Total of bills payable account is debited. Bills payable book is debited to sundry creditors account and credited to bills payable account. Which ledger? General ledger. And also individually debited to sundry creditors. What is the entry? X account, we are giving bills payable to X. X to bills payable. Individual debited to sundry creditors. Which ledger? Creditors ledger. Individual debited to suppliers account, sorry. Similarly here written, individually credited to customers. Individual debited to suppliers account. Which ledger? Creditors. Total of bills payable book is debited to sundry creditors and credited to bills payable account. Like bills payable account you open by sundries, in creditors to sundries, like that. I think this 5th and 6th doesn't have much significance, but only for true or false statement I have given. Total of bills payable book is debited sundry creditors and credited bills payable general ledger, and also individually debited to suppliers account. Here total of bills receivable book is debited to bills receivable account and creditors and debtors, and also individually credited to customers account in debtors ledger. Here it is in creditors ledger. So with this, the total concept of subsidy books has been explained, and in the next class I hope you all are following. Next class I'll be taking you to 3-column cash book. So till then, goodbye. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you.